What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. It is the third day of April. And here we are sitting at about $66.8 thousand with roughly 11 hours and 17 minutes left in the day. We are range bound, moving sideways in this range, and we have been since February, and I believe we will continue to be range bound until likely, I really do think that it'll be sometime in June that we break out. It might even be June that we find the high of this range near 80K. But I think we're going to be moving sideways until May, June, or possibly even July. We've got a lot of time left in this range. And if we're looking at it for what it is, we're not at the absolute lowest points of this range, but we are at some of the lower areas, right? Most of the time, I mean, if we draw a line of best fit here, this is kind of the middle. We are below that line there. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if we do have lower to go, it's probably not much in comparison to this overall drop. It's probably not much. And we will likely come back up. Every pump will get dumped into, every dump will get pumped into, and so on and so forth until June is my thoughts. A lot of people are expecting sell in May and go away to be a thing. I think it will be sell in June and go away. We will do a video on that as we get closer to that time. But for now, let's talk about the short-term stuff. Giving you a little glimpse into what I see the future as, and it could be right, it could be wrong, we'll see. But I'm going to look at the short-term stuff. We've got 11 hours, 16 minutes left in the day. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame and then zoom out from there, okay? So looking here on the 1 hour, we've got 66.8K as the price. We're wicking up, we're moving down. It is Good Friday, so the banks are closed, the stock market's closed, I believe. There's not any, let's just see. Is the stock market open today? I'm pretty sure I did this yesterday, actually. We asked you yesterday. And this took longer than Grok did. We're just going to ask Grok. We'll ask Grok. Yeah, right there. No, the stock. This was yesterday that I asked. So no, it's not. Friday, April 3rd. No, it's not open. So, anyways, moving down here. Big wick to the upside. Not a lot of volume. We're just moving sideways. I would treat today, Good Friday, like I would any Saturday. And the fact that it's a long weekend, a lot of people expect. And whenever I was new in crypto, I expected this thing basically every single holiday. So I'm assuming a lot of people expect, oh, it's the holiday, something big might happen. The price might do something weird because it's the holiday. No, nothing happens, man. Holidays, 99% of the time, they don't do anything. Nothing happens. So it's the holiday. Go away. Why does the price not do anything? Why do the markets not do anything? It's because anybody who has money, enough money to push the price around, when they hear holiday, they go on holiday. They're going on vacation somewhere. They're spending time with their family, with their friends. The people, the degenerates who are trading 100x leverage and they're living in their mom's basement, they don't have enough money to push the markets around, okay? And the pro traders who do, even if they're not on holiday, they're not going to trade over the weekend because that's kind of just like a standard rule amidst, I feel like, most traders in this space and most traders around the world. There's a reason for that, guys, because the weekend is heavily manipulated, boring, and it's oftentimes deceitful. So I don't expect much to happen this weekend. We're in this kind of lower consolidation range on this 1 hour time frame. At the upper ends, we probably come down, and then up, and then down, and then up, and then down. We're just going to move sideways until it's Monday, probably. This does look bearish here. Not a lot of volume. We could break out. We could break out to the upside, but again, if we do, it is the weekend. So if we move up, it's probably not going to be an exuberant amount. We'd probably find resistance somewhere at prior support, and then we would probably likely move back down. We're really not going to do too much over the weekend. If by chance on Monday, if we're here right now, and on Monday we're all the way up here, or we're all the way down here, that would imply then that we're going to see a correction or a pump going into next week, because typically weekend pumps or dumps get corrected pretty immediately once the new week opens. If we're looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, again, I'm speaking in terms of typical, right? What's typical? Doesn't mean that it has to happen, but that's what's typical. 1 hour RSI to me looks bearish. To me, looks like where we are here, yeah, you would come down. Does that mean that we're plummeting into the oversold zone? No, I mean maybe. Lower lows. Maybe we do that. Perhaps we come down and we form a higher low here. Perhaps we're coming down, but I do think that we'll come down from here a little bit more. So just a little bit, nothing crazy. Stochastics rejecting the overbought zone. Probably not that reliable because you're choppy and sideways, and the MACD is at a point to reject as well. So yeah, come down. We're at 66.8K. Come down to 66K, somewhere around there. Um, I stand by it. If we get above 68.2K, I was saying this yesterday, we get above 68.2K, then we likely are moving up, and we will see this high here. It's going to take 2 4-hour closing candles in order to validate that. We'll need 2 4-hour closing candles above this golden ratio zone, and then I will concede that we are in fact moving up to 70K and beyond. For now, I'm still under the assumption that any move up from here will just lead to a lower low than this low. We're sticking with the thought that we are destined to go to like 63 to 61K, and we'll go over that as we push on here. So looking at this on the 4-hour time frame, it'll be a little bit more helpful than the 1-hour time frame. Again, we have this channel. These type of trend lines I don't normally care for. I don't normally think of as significant. But whenever you do get a parallel channel or some type of more identifiable pattern, but especially a parallel channel, I do regard that a little bit more. I do respect that. Being that it's the weekend, I'm not expecting that we see any kind of fantastic upside, right? Maybe we go up a little bit, but we'll just find more resistance here. I do think, looking in the terms of this channel, we are on like the upper half of it, right? So we probably will come down. I bet if we draw a channel, it'll actually be perfect. Let's just see. Hi there. Let's just connect it like that. We'll shave it down. Shave it down. Should we do that? We'll do that low. Yeah, there we go. And you can see the red line is like the midline there, or the heart line as some people refer to it as. Resistance, support, resistance here on these quadrants, the yellow lines, support there. We're disrespecting it a little bit. We could move up a little bit, but I really do think that we're destined to go down below 64K here. We'll probably come down. It would be a positive signal if we reach for the white line, but we don't quite get there. We do something like that. That's called a partial decline. That would actually be bullish, and then we can move up higher. But we absolutely can move down and hit this lower end here. We could even break out of it a little bit. These trend lines, again, sometimes they're deceitful, and it's right below them that you find support right before you're actually about to make a nice move up. So I do expect that we're going to go lower just based off that trend there. The 4-hour RSI, typically when we're at our low points here, look at where we were. We were at this oversold area. This was our low point. Was it the lowest point? No, but we were at the low point here. Oversold, we were at the low point here. Oversold, you were at a relative low point, but you still came back down. You were still at a relative low point. We didn't get oversold here. We got overbought or toward the overbought zone, toward this area where we do find resistance, and we're at our relative highs. So this was a relative high here in this downward sloping trend. We've not gotten oversold. We've not shown the signal that we're ready to bounce yet. And the stochastics themselves look like dog shit. We're probably going to come down. The MACD, it has this look of like bullish divergence showing, but I don't think that's what it is, personally. I think what we're doing here, again, I'm amazed by people who don't use the oscillators, man. I've seen people who I respect as analysts who just use the histogram for the MACD. It's like, dude, the oscillator, it's like you're taking away both your arms. Like you got legs, sure, and you got your the rest of your body, but man, this is very helpful. The oscillator is very helpful because here it looks like you're staving off your bearish momentum, but really with the oscillators we can see you rejected the zero line, the neutral level, and you probably got lower to go based off these oscillators here. That's how you take this positive seeming thing in the histogram, and you can foresee that it will likely continue to grow to the downside. Rejecting the 50, bearish looking stochastics, bearish looking MACD, everything suggesting we go lower. And then here we get to the part as to why I believe we're going to go lower. Or not why I believe. We've already gotten to that. Why I believe we'll see 61 to 63K, if I'm remembering correctly. 61.6 is the 886. 63.1 is the 786. The 786 itself is a very respectable range or price level. Bitcoin does like to respect this level. It does like to find significance on this level. We've found support here before. We might find support right there again. It's not uncommon at all to find support somewhere in the range. You don't have to find support directly at either of these levels. It can be within that realm. And sometimes we even do wick through the 886. That's possible too. What I don't expect is that we'll break through this. What I don't expect is that we're breaking out of this. We're breaking out of the bear flag, guys, and we're going to go down. You're probably going to hear a lot of people say that. But again, I'd like to remind you of a scenario back here where we did the exact same thing, or a very similar thing. This is a lot bigger, don't get me wrong, but here, higher lows, higher highs, when we quote-unquote broke out here and everybody was freaking out, and we were basically tied up with this low, just like we're almost forecasting for this exact move here. It's just on a larger scale. When we broke out here, there was no volume here. There was no volume. And that's where we confidently took a bullish stance and we moved up, right? It's probably going to be the same thing here. If you hear a bunch of people saying bear flag, but there's no volume, even if it's a little bit more like this, that's not really any volume. If you're breaking out, you want to see a pickup in volume. You want it to be breakout volume. And, well, we'll just see how it goes. If it goes the way that I think it will, we should find support somewhere around 63.1 to 61.6K. We could find support at higher levels. It's completely possible, but I am fully expecting that we will see lower prices than what we had here at 65K. I very much do believe we're going to go below 65K. The daily RSI is bearish, rejecting the 50. Will probably come down to the oversold zone. It might be a slow, methodical process. April might not be, at least the first half of April might not be as bullish as I was thinking it would be, but that's okay. It's good, I think, to start a month off to the downside if you're expecting it to go up, and I'll go over that superstition in a second. That's not really technical analysis, but that's more of a superstition. The stochastics look bearish here, and obviously the MACD looks bearish too. The reason why I think it's good for a month to start off moving down and not moving up is because if you look at any of these green months, almost all of them, there's some of them with very small wicks to the downside, but a lot of these green months that we have notable wicks to the downside. Notable, which means they were down at some point, they were red in the beginning, and then they finished off green, right? That's not technical analysis, it's just technically an honest statistic that likely if you're going to have a green month, you will have a wick below it. Not every time. Not every month has a wick below it, or some of them have smaller wicks, but you get the point. I digress. So I'm not worried about it. I don't personally believe we're going below 60K right now. I think that we will go below 60K. I just don't think that April is the month for that. I don't have anything else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Slowly but surely, we'll move down. I assume that between today and Sunday, we're not going to be too far away from the current price. Yes, I believe we're going to move down, but we might as well just kind of move sideways here until Monday, and then we will probably start to proceed lower in this kind of range, and then maybe sometime next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, somewhere in that kind of time frame, we'll be at this 63.1 to 61.6K area. Again, hit that like button. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.